Hello, welcome to ANA community. What are Vata Vriddha Lakshana? How to identify the abnormal increase of Vata Dosha in the body and how to understand based on the present context. This is the topic of discussion in today's video. Dear ANA community members, press the like button and spread this particular video to maximum number of true Nidana learners so that we can make a huge movement out of this particular small message. Don't forget to press the bell icon so the YouTube algorithms will be fetching you the right information at the right time for the right purpose. When you think about the Vata Vriddhi Lakshana, it is composed of three different words: Vata, Vriddhi and Lakshana. When you think about the Vata, it is indicative of Vata Dosha or Vata bioenergy, and Vriddhi refers to the abnormal increase or abnormal vitiation of the Vata Dosha, and Lakshana, that is the clinical features or the uh, observable objective features as well as subjective features, how to identify the Vata Dosha increase in the body. As far as the text is concerned, the Vriddhi Lakshana refers to Dosha Prakriti Vaisheshyam Niyatam Vriddhi Lakshanam. So that is the specific Lakshana which are related to that particular dosha. In this particular occasion, this is the Vata dosha. So that is going to be observed in the body, where there may be a possibility of increase of any one guna. Either there may be Ruksha Guna Vriddhi or Laghu Guna Vriddhi, Shita Guna Vriddhi, Khara Guna Vriddhi, Chala Guna Vriddhi, etc. Or any two guna, Ruksha, Laghu Guna Vriddhi, etc. So we are more gunas or all the gunas that may be observed, wherein we are going to observe increased function in the body related to that particular dosha. So the Ashtanga Hridaya says, Vruddhastu kurute nilah karsha karshnoshna kamitva kampana shakritgrahan balanidrendriya bhramsha pralapa brahmadinata. It is the context of Ashtanga Hridaya Sutrasthana 11th chapter. Vruddhaha tu kurute anilah karshya karshnya ushnaकामित्व कंप आनाह शकृत ग्रहान बल निद्रा इंद्रिय भ्रंश प्रलाप भ्रमदीनताः. So here bala bhramsha, nidra bhramsha and indriya bhramsha. So in this way we are going to split this particular terminologies which are indicative of a vata increase or abnormal increase of vata dosha in the body. Sushruta says Vata Vriddhau Vakparushyam Karshyam Karshtyam Katraspuranam Ushnakamita Nidranashu Alpabalatvam Gadhavartyastvam cha. So here the description, extra description that is available, there are two terminology, Vakparushyam and Gatraspurana. So if you look into these meanings of all these, Karshya refers to the emaciation, Karshnya refers to blackish discoloration. Ushnakamita refers to having the affinity or liking towards consumption of the hot substances such as tea, etc. And Kampa, that is referring to involuntary movements. Anaha, so that is referring to the distension of the abdomen. Shakrit Graha, or otherwise that is as per the Sushruta, Gadhavarchastva refers to the constipation or very hard stool as such. Balabhramsha, reduced strength or loss of strength. Then Nidra Bhramsha, that is referring to the reduced sleep or loss of sleep. Indriya Bhramsha, loss of function of the Indriya. Pralapa, irrelevant or incomprehensible speech. Brahma, that is referring to giddiness. Dinata refers to the ill look. Vagparushya, that is the hoarseness of the voice as such. And Gatraspurana, it's a type of the involuntary movement which is specifically seen in cases of the vessels as such. Whereas the Ashtanga Sangraha regarding the Vata Vriddhi Lakshana, that is being said that Karshya, Karshnya, Gatrakampa, Spurana, Ushnakamita, Samnyanasha, Nidranasha, Bala Indriya Upakhata, Asthishula, Majja Ashosha, Malasanga, Adhmana, Atopa, Moha, Dainya, Bala, Shoka, Pralapadivihi, Vruddho, Vayuhu, Pidayati. Because of all these Lakshana, observable Lakshana, we are going to identify the persons are having the abnormal vitiation of Vata Dosha. Now, we are going to look into these as such individually, Lakshana as such. When you think about the Karsha, so that is, so here there is an image which is indicative of abnormal vitiation of Vata Dosha. So here, when you look into the image itself, it is very evident that he is having the loss of nutrients or depletion of the nutrients. Particularly, it is the fat tissue. Whenever there is the carbohydrate depletion, which is switching over to fat depletion, later at last that will be switching over to the protein depletion. So this in this particular image, we are going to observe the abnormal decrease of the fat from the subcutaneous tissues. That means there may be a possibility of the increase of laghu guna in the body. When you think about the karshnyata, so here specifically we are going to observe the dark discoloration specifically near the joint surfaces. So which is specifically indicative of the what is that excessive tissue growth near the joint surfaces. So this is indicative of the abnormal increase of the Vata dosha there. So here we can say there may be a possibility of the what you say that the chala gunatva, or there may be a possibility to say that the increased the metabolic what you say that the mitotic changes that may be observed there. Of course, there may be a possibility even friction also. So the other image, karshnyata, wherein that is indicative of the healing of this wound healing specifically, which is indicative of the what you say that the fibrosis observed near the wound healing as such. Of course, this also may be attributable to karshnyata. What we can say, the blackish discoloration as such. When you think about the third part, that is ushnakamita, so that is liking towards the hot substances. So that means there may be a possibility of increase of the ruksha, the shita guna in the body. So that is naturally the body will be having the liking towards the abnormally increased, liking against the qualities which are abnormally increased in the body. So that is why here Ushna Kamita indicative of the Shita Guna increase in the body. Kampa. Look into this particular video. We are going to see the abnormal movement that is being observed earlier in the hand as such. So one hand, so here we are going to observe the involuntary movement in both the hands. Whereas here we are going to see the different variety of the involuntary movement in the hand itself. All that is indicative of the increase of the Jala guna in the body. So that can be seen in any part of the body itself, maybe in the head, or maybe in the upper limb, or maybe in the lower limb. Any of the parts we are going to observe such kind of the involuntary movements. So this is indicative of the abnormal increase of the Vata dosha in the body. When you think about the next Anaha, Admana and Atopa, which is indicative of the distension of abdomen. So here we are going to see specifically the distension of abdomen. Here initially we are going to observe the Apanavata dysfunction, which in turn may lead to Samanavata dysfunction, and if the proper treatment is not being given, there may be a possibility even Pranavata dysfunction may also take place. All these are indicative of the Vata dosha vitiation in the body. Shakrit Garha, so that is referring to Malasanga, or what we can say the very hard ficolic, as such, wherein the person is very having the strain to have the passage of this particular solidified stool mass. Balabhramsha, which is indicative of the loss of strength, wherein there may be a possibility of the deficiency of macronutrients as well as micronutrients. Macronutrients in the form of the reduction in the either carbohydrate, fat or proteins, whereas even the water also, and micronutrients in the sense the deficiency of sodium, potassium, calcium, etc. We are going to observe the balabhramsha. Again, this is an indication of Vata dosha vitiation. Nidra bhramsha. So, because of the loss of sleep, the textbook says Ratri Jagarana may be leading to the Vata dosha vitiation. That too, there will be the possibility of increase of Ruksha Guna in the body. Indriya Bhramsha or Indriya Upakata. So that is poor functioning of the or loss of function or complete loss of function of Indriya. Either it may be either Jnanendriya loss of function or Karmendriya loss of function. Jnanendriya loss of function in the sense the loss of vision, loss of hearing, loss of smell, loss of taste perception, loss of touch as such. And when you think about the karmendriya, the abnormal, what do you say, that the holding the objects via upper limb, running or walking may be difficult in case of the lower limb, then unable to produce the voice in case of the vak indriya, and unable to pass the fecal matter in case of the payu, and unable to have the sexual pleasure in case of the upastha indriya. All those aspects, we are going to say that there may be a possibility of indriya bhramsha, which is the lakshana may be observed in case of the vata vriddhi there. Pralapa, referring to irrelevant or incomprehensible speech. Whenever a person is having any kind of the dysfunction in this particular image, that is showing he is having the deviation of the mouth on one particular side. Of course, in that particular situation, the speech may be disturbed. The person who is hearing that particular speech may not be able to understand what he is saying. Brahma refers to the giddiness that is specifically seen in cases of the neurological dysfunctioning or circulatory dysfunctioning or cardiovascular dysfunctioning, or in cases of the hypovolemia, etc. Deenata, referring to dainyata, that means ill appearance. Maybe because of the, what you say, that the excessive, what you say, that the sweating as such, etc. We are going to say that there may be a possibility of an abnormal increase of Vata dosha. Spurana. So here, abnormal pulsation. Look into this. Here, these are considered to be the abnormal pulsations that are observed in the vessels. So that is what we can say the spurana. Samnyanasha. That is considered to be altered or complete loss of sensation, unable to perceive the sensations as such. Astishula, pricking type of pain in the bones or joints. Majja shosha, so that is loss of the bone marrow tissue in the bones as such. Bhaya, that is fear for the trivial reasons or even major reasons also. Moha, that is indecisiveness. Shoka, that is grief. And Vakparushya, in the sense the person will be having the sound similar to the sound of the crow or otherwise crowing type of sound, or what we can say the hoarseness of voice. These are the different lakshana that may be observed when there is increase of the Vata dosha in the body. That too, the abnormal increase or abnormal vitiation of the Vata dosha in the body. To sum up, the abnormal increase of Vata dosha that can be identified by abnormally increased functions. These abnormal increased functions may be considered to be due to the increase of either one guna such as Laghu guna or Shita guna, etc., or increase of any two gunas Laghu Ruksha Guna or Laghu Shita Guna as such, or increase of more or all the gunas of the Vata Dosha. So this actually happens because of the exposure to the Vata vitiating factors such as Vyayamat, Apatarpanat, Prapatanat, Bhangat, Kshayat, Jagarat, Veganam cha Vitharanat, Atishuchah Shaityad Atitrasatah Rukshakshobakashatikta Katukairevi Prakopam Raje, Vayu Varidharagame Parinate Chanye Paranye Apicha. Madhukosha Madhava Nidana, first chapter, 5th shloka. That's all for today. What are the major key takeaways from today's discussion? Mention in the comment box below. What is the one video that you'd like to hear in the coming days in this particular channel? Mention in the comment box below, and spread this particular video to maximum number of true Nidana learners so that we can make a huge movement out of this particular small message. Don't forget, press the bell icon so that the YouTube algorithms will be fetching you the right information at the right time for the right purpose. That's all for today. Something more in the next video. Thank you.